Dave's Laboratory Lightning Round. Now, if you caught the broadcast last year, what we did was we set a 60-minute timer in the top corner of the screen, and we're counting down to 0. We're going to show off as many of our game ideas as we can in 60 minutes. We'll have a 10-minute limit on each game. And so if you caught the original broadcast, we were kind of in the middle of showing red, white, and blue horse racing. And it was kind of a letdown not to get to finish the show. So we left off that broadcast by saying what we're going to do is start the next laboratory video with the conclusion of the red, white, and blue horse racing. So that's what we're going to do. We'll start with that. We got that all set up and ready to go. Well, we got the basics of it set up. We'll set the horse race up for you live here. Then we'll pick some of the boxes we have. We have fewer boxes this time. We have 6 boxes to choose from here. And we'll go through as many of those as we can. And then at the end of the 60 minutes, we're going to let Sam take over, and he's going to kind of revisit one of the games that we looked at last time and show you the kind of progress that we've made on it. And then at the end of the demonstration, give you a chance to download that game for free, a beta version of it, and you can try it out and give us some feedback on it. So we're excited about that. That'll be coming up at the end of the 60-minute time limit. And the clock is ticking, so let's go with red, white, and blue horse racing. All right, so it's very similar to the NASCAR game. Obviously, that's where the inspiration comes from. There are some differences in the way that the races are staged. I won't go too much in depth on that. The rules are obviously in flux. That's one thing I want to say right from the get-go is that as we go through these games that we're going to be showing tonight in these boxes are not nearly as finished as some of the other games that we were showing you last time. So a lot of these rules are kind of in flux. Some of the materials are kind of rough looking. But I think you'll enjoy getting a peek behind the curtain at what we do here at Play Games when we're kind of developing games. So, red, white, and blue horse racing. Let's get to it. So we're going to start out by, we got a big stack of horse cards. Is the screen, yeah, okay, I can hold it up here. Horse cards are very similar to the NASCAR cards in makeup. They've got a little bit different symbols. And then we got jockey cards, which is something we didn't get to last time. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little sample race. 8 horses in the race and a 10-turn race. I'm going to shuffle these cards up and we'll do the qualifying kind of on the fly here. The horse racing version of this game has what I call like a gate rating. So each horse is rated for breaking out of the gate, and that's how we do the qualifying in the NASCAR game with the trophy symbols. It's kind of similar. You'll see how it works. And then after we've assigned each horse, after each horse finds its place breaking out of the gate, we'll put the rider, the jockeys, with the horse. So let's start by getting our horses out there. I'm going to shuffle these up. All right, and we're just going to do the top 8. So the first horse is going to be Nevermind. He's got a gate rating of 7, so I got to roll a 7 or better for him to break from the gate. And he doesn't, so I'm going to put him in what would be the horse racing equivalent of the bubble stack over here. Next is Diamond Jim, whose gate rating is a 7. I rolled a 6. So because he's got a gold trophy, he will break into the lead. And I guess I forgot to do our jockeys. We've got Joe Mercer on Nevermind. It's a very simple rating. I've just got a numerical rating for them for now. That will expand later. Kieran Fallon. Oh, I went online. I was trying to figure out, what should I name these jockeys? I went online, just did a Google search of famous jockeys. So these are like famous jockeys. All right, so the next horse is Swig of Whiskey with a gate rating of 6. So that's going to go in the bubble stack. And the jockey is going to be Paul Carberry. And we got another roll of 6, but a gate rating of 4. So this horse is also going to the bubble stack with Mario Gutierrez. That's 4 of our 8 horses. 6 and a gate rating of 3. Slow Boat to China. Okay, Folky Walwyn. So I'm going to just list those over here. And then we have, gate rating of 3. 6 for $1 will go into the top of the top group with Yasin Pelavikar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get 2 more horses in this race. All right, so beef stroganoff will not break from the gate with Pat Valenzuela. And our final horse is, and again, Silly Rabbit with a roll of 9. So we got kind of a slow field coming out of the gate. So what we would normally move up, fill the gap like we do in NASCAR. All these guys are going to get a second roll, and we're going to place them based on basically filling the gap if they can roll within their gate rating. So that's going to go here. Here's Green Taxi. And now we're cooking. That's a 4. So Green Taxi does not. Does not. Oh, Beef Stroganoff will be 5th. Silly Rabbit will not. So then we go back to Green Taxi. And that's a fail. Fail. And then Silly Rabbit. And then after this, we just line them up in that order. Okay. So there's how they broke from the gate. We'll do a 10-turn race. And you'll see it's very familiar to red, white, and blue auto racing. We're going to go on the Western Frontier racetrack here. And we determine who's challenging where. Exactly the same as we do in the NASCAR game. It's going to be a duel. And our duel results are here. So it'll be horse number 3 versus horse number 2 for a duel. And again, it's going to be there's going to be chips. Oh, I don't have any chips with me. I'll have to just remember who's got a chip. Or maybe you can run over and grab some. That'll work. Yeah, I got some chips there. There we go. Okay, so a dual result here. 3 versus 2. So Nevermind's going to challenge 6 for $1. And we're just going to use the jockey ratings. So if he rolls within his jockey rating, it'll be a successful duel. So that's not going to be a successful duel, and he's not even going to have to defend. So no chip. And there's no penalty for a failed duel in the horse racing variant, aside from having to exchange places with a guy that beat you in the duel. So that's our first turn. Here's our second turn. It's going to be a top group challenge for Strong. And we have both 6 for $1 and Nevermind. Both have Strong. Diamond Jim does not, so he'll only have 2. And there's no break bonuses either in the horse racing version. So 6 for $1 goes first, and that's going to be a failed challenge. I would roll all 3 because there'll be ultimately some sort of unusual results challenge if you get an unusual results distribution if you roll triples. And here's Nevermind's chance, and also get a 6. Wow. Okay, so both of those failed. Now we're on to the third turn. It's going to be a middle group challenge for control. So let's see who's got control. Looks like these two, Beef Stroganoff and Swig of Whiskey, will challenge. And that's going to be good. He's challenging Nevermind. And it's a win. So Beef Stroganoff moves into second place. Nevermind falls back to 5th. And here's Swig of Whiskey. Looks like a good... Now it's going to be stopped. So that is our third turn. Now the fourth turn. And it's going to be a bottom group challenge for Reflex. Anybody in the bottom group have Reflex? Looks like Green Taxi does. So Green Taxi with a blue die of 1, that's probably going to be a fail. They all got at least one we'll call it a break bonus for lack of a better term. So we go to the 5th turn. No movement there for Green Taxi. And it's going to be another duel. This time it'll be 3 versus 1. So 6 for $1 is going to challenge for the lead. And here we go. It's Joe Mercer. He's within his range. So if Diamond Jim doesn't roll within his range to stop him, and he does. So no movement there. Deciding whether to award a chip for that. In Red, White, and Blue Racing, there's chips awarded. We'll just hold off on it. Here's the 6th turn. If he would have won, I would have given him a chip. 6th turn is a top group challenge for Star. Star, it looks like 6 for $1 has Star, and Diamond Jim does not. So he's gonna need to roll better than a blue 2. Oh, and that looks like that is going to be. Let's see. He does have Star, but only 3 diamonds. So that'll be a failed challenge. 7th turn. Getting close to the end of the race. Not a lot of movement this race. Another duel. It'll be let's see, 4 versus 3. Swig of Whiskey. Let's see what we got here. And oh, he rolled a 4. And let's see. And he rolled a 3. So he would hold him off. I might change that mechanic so that there's no in the NASCAR game there's no defense on that. I felt like there should be in the horse racing game. I might change my mind on that. So here's the 8th turn. And another duel. And this will be 3 versus 1. So here's 6 for $1. Trying to make the move. 11 outside his range. And now the 9th turn. Diamond Jim holding on to the lead. It's going to be a middle group challenge for heat. Let's see. Who's got heat? Oh, Nevermind's got double heat. And Swigger Whiskey has single heat. So let's see. Nevermind could conceivably surge to the lead. Not with a blue die 1, though. So that's not going to work. Gets a second chance, though. And that will work. This time, Nevermind moves up to 3rd place. And here's Swigger Whiskey. Okay, we're almost to the end of the race anyway. And that'll be a failed. So here's our last turn. We'll make this the last turn. And it's going to be top group challenge for control. Control, they both have it. Diamond Jim does not. Can he hold on? So he's only going to have 2 break symbols, so as it were, horseshoe symbols. So Nevermind's going to get the first chance. And that looks good. Oh, but Diamond Jim holds him off. It's up to Beef Stroganoff. Oh, and he rolls a 5. He doesn't make it. So Diamond Jim holds on, and our lead stays the same. So, our order stays the same. Diamond Jim wins, Beef Stroganoff 2nd, Nevermind is 3rd. So that's how the horse racing game works. There'd be like a betting component to this based on the aggregate rating of the jockey and the horse. Obviously, quite a bit of work still to do on it, and some of the rules, need some brushing up. But that's basically how the horse racing game works. Different tracks will have, different characteristics and so on. So there's red, white, and blue horse racing. I put that back in the box, and we'll move to our next game. Appreciate y'all watching tonight. This is kind of a fun broadcast for us to do, but it's a little nerve-wracking too, because a lot of these games we're not that familiar with the rules. We're kind of still working on the rules, but we're gonna roll with it. Okay, here's our next game, which is this is a game that we showed last time. It was the original NASCAR game. Which was called Trade and Paint. In fact, I think I've still got the stuff here in the box, just to refresh your memory. This was the original game board for that game back, and you see the notes are on it from, I guess that would be 2009. So we took this game, and we talked about it in the last broadcast. We talked about making this like a pod racing game, or maybe a Roman chariot racing game, using the same basic mechanics. So we took this game to a local game designers meeting maybe 6 weeks ago, and we were playing it with other playtesters, and one of the guys says, you should make this like a pizza delivery game, where you're running around trying to deliver pizzas. And we thought, well, that's kind of a neat take on it. So that's what we've done with this, and we'll show you. We're calling it Pizza Pro Delivery, and it works, it uses the same mechanics, but in kind of a fun way. So let me get the materials out here. Here's our dice. So you can play this head-to-head with multiple people playing, or it's also designed to be played solitaire with like an auto driver. So I'll be the green driver, the green pizza driver. The auto driver will be red. And let me set this over here. I need this. And these are our pizzas. So the way it works is it's kind of a resource management game. These cards have different things that you can do based on the. You'll see there are like dice printed on most of them, and there's a symbol up in the upper left-hand corner corresponding to the symbols on the game board. So when you're on a match, when the card you play matches the space that you're on, you get to do the bonus. If it doesn't, you can still use the dice to move your car spaces, but you don't get to use this bonus. Any card can be played on any space. But the dice are used to move you around. You can also go faster by rolling additional dice in addition to what you have printed on your card. If you do so, you take some risk in that if a 6 comes up, that means you've lost control of your vehicle and you have to go to one of these little burst, like off. You hit the curb is what we're calling it. You go into the curb. You can also be bumped into the curb by another pizza driver. So you start out the game with as a live player. I haven't decided. I've been playing with 7. I think that kind of gives you maybe too much of an advantage. 5 seems like it's too few. So I think maybe we'll just use 6 for this go round. The auto driver doesn't use cards. The auto driver has his moves programmed into these cards, and we've made different kinds of drivers. There's an unlimited number of. You can make really good pizza drivers. You can make really bad ones. Ultimately, you could have like a set of maybe 30 of these drivers and have like a Pizza Pro playoffs. But for right now, I got 4 drivers. I got the polite driver, the fast driver, the angry driver, and the routine driver. And they all have a little different driving styles in getting the pizzas. All right, so I'm going to deal myself out 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is my starting hand here. And we determine what the robo driver is doing by flipping cards and comparing symbols to the symbol that we draw to the symbol space that they're on. So I'll put my cards out here. I'll sort them here by symbol. So these are my driving options. Oh, I got a 7th card. All right. Well, I guess we're going to do 7 this time. We'll test it out with 7. All right. So here are my options. We'll roll a die to distribute the pizzas. There's little numbers that I've written on here. So when I roll the die, it'll tell you where the pizzas go and how many. So I rolled a 6. That means there's going to be 6 pizzas out for delivery. You play this game in 4. There's a 4-hour shift. So we're going to do this 4 times, clear the pizzas, and then at the end of the 4 hours, whoever has the most tips will win. All right, so we're going to put the pizzas here, and here, and here, and here, and here. So these 2 pizzas go here. And we're thinking about making these colors mean like a yellow is a cheese pizza and red is a pepperoni pizza, and they have different. There's something different about them depending on what kind of pizza you deliver. Okay, so I'm going to roll here to see who goes first. The odd I go first. Okay, so the robo driver is going to go first. And there's a space down here on the cards where driver tendencies will be indicated. So it'll tell you like, okay, he always goes for the closest pizza, or he always tries to knock the other driver into the curb. Like a hierarchy of things that they do. But right now we're just going to play it by ear. All right, so the polite driver, we're going up against the polite driver who gets lots of tips. All right, so he's in the off space. The pizza now, the pizza row area is considered an off space. Anything that's like these little burst symbols are the off spaces. So he's in an off space. We got a stop sign, so he's going to move up 3 spaces. So he is going to go 1, 2, 3, and he's going to take a pizza. So he is going to deliver that very first pizza, and when you land exactly on where a pizza is to be delivered, you get to roll 2 dice for the tip. If you speed, you can also opt to speed by it and try to get to the next pizza faster, but then you only get to roll 1 tip. So he gets 2 tips, and he got a $6 tip, so he's up 6-0. So now it's my turn, and when you're in an off space, you cannot roll dice. You can only and you don't get any bonuses. You just get the printed dice here. So I'm going to go the other way. And I'll see if I can get a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have anything that adds up to 4? I don't. So I will take the 5 and spin that card and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll blow by him and get a 1. That's a $6 tip. Not too bad. All right, so he got. I forget what I should be writing this down. What the tips are. In demo mode, it's not so crucial, but you'll get the idea. So I believe he had $7 or $8 in tips. I've got 6. All right, so now it's his turn again. He's on a circle space, and we flip a card. He draws a circle on a circle, so he's going to get 11 spaces and an extra tip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He just delivered 3 pizzas, and he got an extra tip. So he's going to get 4 dice rolls to add to his total. And all the pizzas are gone, which I'll explain in a moment. So he would get 5, 9, 13. He get $17 in tips that time. Okay, so now all the pizzas are delivered for the first hour. So now we've got to go back to the pizza row to get fresh pizzas. So you can't deliver more pizzas until you go back and get more. So both of us have to get back to pizza row. When the first person that gets back to pizza row the new pizzas will be redistributed, and that driver will get to, get out, go out and start delivering. Okay, so it is now my turn. I've still got plenty of resources left to play here. So I will play this. And landing on these spaces here, this is pizza row, so that's where you get to replenish. So this is going to work out well for me. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to play this card. It matches the space I'm on. I'm going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. I do not have to roll any extra dice. I could if I wanted to, but it's right where I want to be. So I'm going to get to draw a card. I get to do the bonus. So now I've still got 6 cards in my hand. And we're going to redistribute the pizzas. I think I need to roll that again. Oh, so now there's only 1 pizza out there. Oh, and look who's sitting on it. Except he doesn't have any pizzas. He's got to go back to get pizzas. So it's going to be a race for him to get back and me to get out there. All right, so now it's his turn. We flip a card. And he is going to have square on a square. So he's going to go 10 and get an extra tip if he delivered. He's not going to deliver, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, but he got now we're both in the same space. We're both going after that 1 delivery. It's my turn, though. So I can see how I can. Now I can try to knock him off. I've got options here. So I'll play this one here. This left the car running. It gives me 3 spaces, but I can also roll some extra spaces, roll some extra dice, and take an extra turn. So I'm gonna roll 2 extra dice. Hopefully not roll a 6. If I roll a 6, I'm off. And I didn't. That was great for me. I rolled 2 5s. So I'm gonna get to move 13 spaces and take an extra turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I get to take an extra turn. All I got to do, I discard this card. I will take, I wish I had a 1 space, but I will, just FYI, I'll just play this because I've got 2 of these. I'll claim that, get my tip. I have to only get 1 though. It's a $4 tip, and that would be the end of the second hour. Only 1 pizza to be delivered, and if I'm remembering correctly, I should be just barely in the lead. So we'd have 2 more hours to go, and that's how you'd play Pizza Pro Delivery. Obviously, there's still things to do on this. I want to check on the balance of the cards, but it's a super fun game, I think, and it also kind of feels like you're racing against the clock. We didn't get into some of the options. You oftentimes have the option of trying to wreck the other driver, or go for more pizzas. How many pizzas do you think you can scoop up, in the turn that you have? So there's plenty of narrative here that feels a lot like delivering pizzas. So that is Pizza Pro Delivery. Let me get these put away, and we'll move to our next game. I think we're under. Are you keeping track of the clock? 9:33. Okay, perfect timing. All right, so let me put this away. Instead of going against the polite driver, I should have gone against the angry driver. Anyway, and you can run these guys against each other too. You can do it totally automated and just see who delivers. All right, let me close this up and go to our next game. All right, what's in the box? Oh, we have the Amelia Earhart game. I'm calling it the Amelia Earhart game. This really, I have to be honest with you, this game is really more of a concept than a game. I'm sure we won't take up the full 10 minutes because all we have here is a packet of dice and 2 of these sheets like this. All right, so the idea here, this is kind of a resource management game. And again, it's a dice game, a dice rolling game. And you set these side by side like this. And the idea is you're flying one of those old, Lockheed planes like Amelia Earhart flew, and you're trying to make it around the world. And you've got a certain amount of gas that you can, fly with, and we're going to say that that's represented by 6 of these cloud sky-colored dice here. And this is your takeoff space. And again, the rules are really in flux. I really haven't fleshed them out, but so it's really think of this in terms more of concept. These little. This is like the sky. These are like clouds. These little arrows here are like pockets of current that you're flying, you're trying to get to in order to be able to conserve your fuel and kind of fly along with the jet stream. So when you land on one of those, you get your die back. You roll these die one at a time. When you land on one of these things, these are little islands or places to land where you can get more gas. And the idea would be that you'd want to. It would be a race. You'd be trying to do this in as efficiently as possible. So, just to kind of, again, we're kind of making this up as we go along. I haven't really fleshed out the rules, but we're going to take off, and I'll show you how it works. So I get a 2. I'm going for this here, and I get a 6. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one I get my dice back. I think I'm gonna skip landing here. I think I can make it to there. So I'm gonna roll a 6 again. I'm off to a good start. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this is the mechanic that I learned from a game that I bought at a thrift store called Thunder Road, where you move the previous board over to here, and so you have like a continuing flight pattern. Now, in my mind, the game would come with more than just 2 of these. You might have 5 or 6 of them, maybe 10 of them. I mean, and you would move one up against the other as you move from one to the next. So let's see, we've used 2 of these. We'll see if we can get see how far we can get here. I only got a 1. That's not good. 2. All right, so I'm gonna have to go here and get that back, I think. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get that back. 1. That's not good. I lose that one. So I'm going to probably have to land here, I think. Oh, 1. Now I'm really in trouble. I really need to make it to that arrow. 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, get the dice back. I gotta make it to the island. Oh, 1. So I crashed in the ocean, and that would be the I would lose. I would want to start again. So that's how the game would work. I mean, there are different things that I'm thinking of doing, but haven't gotten around to really developing. Like, for example, maybe you fly a stronger plane that flies slower but carries more fuel with you. Maybe when you land on the island to refuel, maybe you get a choice of how much fuel you want to take on, knowing that the more fuel you take, the slower you're going to go. Anyway, that's sort of the thought behind the Amelia Earhart game, and I will go ahead and set that aside and move to the next. I forgot to put these in the box. That's the last thing I want to do is get all these game parts all mixed up. Any comments that I need to be aware of, or everything going smoothly on the tech end? Okay, here's our next game. If you're just joining us, by the way, this is the Play Games Laboratory Lightning Round. 10 minutes on each game, 60 minutes tops, and then at the end of this, we're going to show you a game we're working on for Play Now and give you a chance to download it and try it out for yourself. All right, this is Dodgeball. We showed an early version of this at the convention a couple of years ago. This will be a Play Now game, but we're holding off on putting it out there until we get a little bit better balance of game topics. We've really gone to great pains not to have Play Now not be a sports game brand. We want Play Now to be all kinds of different games, all kinds of different non-sim type games. So we obviously, me being a big sports fan, my mind tends to think in terms of sports. And this is really a cool game. Borrows a lot from the Face to the Mat drama stuff, as you'll see. But, and it is more or less ready to go. We have actually a different version that we're working on in terms of graphics, but I'm going to just show you the original version that we have here. Make sure I'm on the board. That looks good. Okay, so here's Dodgeball. I've got 4 teams here: the Big Bang, the Rockers, the Shock, and the Heroes. Now, the idea of Dodgeball is it's kind of like the movie with Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn, but it's sort of a cross between that and what if Vince McMahon and the World Wrestling Entertainment decided to do dodgeball instead. It has like a wrestling aspect to it, of storyline stuff. So imagine a dodgeball league which tours the country from city to city, and it brings all its teams with it. It's like an 8-team league, and there's like a double elimination tournament each night where you have all 8 teams play. There's 4 games. The winners play the winners, the losers play the losers, and the loser of the loser game, everybody moves up and down based in the league standings, based on that night's activity. In other words, the championship it's not a season. There's a championship. The championship is determined every single night. So you're either playing for the championship or you're playing to position yourself to play for the championship next week. It's a continuous championship type thing, just like wrestling. All right, so we're going to do this with you would do it with 8 teams, but we're just going to have 4 here. We won't even play a full game. I'm just going to show you how this works. So we'll play the Heroes against the Rockers. How about that? Now let's play the Big Bang. The Heroes against the Big Bang. So we have as you can see, well, there's an E up here. This is from our playtest session. The Heroes were actually eliminated from the league. The loser of the loser game gets eliminated, or if they go below a D grade on the TV grade for the team, then they're cut loose from the federation, and a new team takes their place on the world tour. So let me go ahead and get our players out here for the Heroes, and I'm just gonna just not be too particular about who goes here. So you choose your 6 starters. And then you have your 2 people that are the reserves. They play like in the resurrection line. And if you're familiar with dodgeball, you know what the resurrection line is. Those are the guys that come in when one of your guys makes a catch. Here's the Big Bang over here. We got Chambliss and Yanish and Choice, Maxwell, Kelly, and we'll put Barnage out there. These guys they got an extra guy. Yeah, let's give them. Let's get Kelly in here, or Zelnick in for Kelly. Somebody's on the team that shouldn't be. I'll put him in the box here. All right, so there are your lineups. We're getting ready for the opening rush. The game is played with lots of dice. The blue dice represent the dodgeballs, and if you're familiar with dodgeball, they would line these up like in front of like this, and they would be positioned at the back. And then the guy would say, "Dodgeball!" And everybody would run up there and try to grab a ball. That's called the opening rush. So the way it works in Play Dodgeball is you add up the stars. The stars represent ball control ability to collect loose balls. I guess I should explain the numbers as well. The blue ratings are their throw ratings. The red ratings are their dodge ratings. And it works similar to Hockey Blast and Red, White, and Blue Racing, in which for a successful hit to happen, the thrower has to throw within his throw range, and the dodger has to roll outside his dodge range. So if either the throw is unsuccessful or the dodge is successful, then it's not an out. However, if the throw is on target and the dodge is not made, then the targeted player is out. Okay, and there are ways to catch the ball. I'll explain that in a moment. But right now we're doing the opening rush. So those are the ratings. The stars represent ball control. So we're going to count up the number of stars: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the Heroes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the Big Bang. So you're going to add that to 2, and the advantage there'd be a one point advantage for the Heroes, and I would need to roll a 3 or less for them to get an extra ball. So they're basically even. Excuse me. And I rolled a 9, so each team is going to get 3 balls, and I'm going to show you how we distribute those. So we roll these 3 dice for this team, and you'll see there's dice printed here on the dodgeball board. That corresponds. Oh look, I rolled 6s. I'm just going to roll that again, just to save the time of explaining how that works. So we go 3, 4, 5. So Rule gets 1, the player in the 3, the player in the 4, and the player in the 5. The others are going to retreat in a moment. Right now, we're kind of capturing this opening rush, which is a very lightning fast type thing, in slow motion. All right, so these guys do the same thing. So Zelnick gets it, and Chambliss will get 2, which he can pass to somebody else if he wants, or he can hold on to him. He'll go ahead and he's got a pretty good dodge rating, so he'll go ahead and toss it over to Choice. So there's our opening rush. Now we determine who is going to throw first, and that's going to be based, since they both have the same number of players and the same number of balls, it's going to be the team with the highest cumulative throw rating with the players that have the balls. So 4, 4, and 3 is 11. And 4, 4, and 2 is 10. So these guys will get the first throw. And they can throw at whomever they want. Sometimes it makes sense to throw at somebody who's got a ball. If you're holding a ball, you get an extra point added to your dodge rating. If you're in the front court, you get an extra point added to your throw rating. So we'll have Chambliss throw first. He's going to take the easy pickings. Looks like, well, he's cross court from Davis, so that there would be an adjustment for that. So we'll have him throw for Ryan. So we're going to use colored dice, which correspond to the ratings, so blue and red, and we're going to roll this, and we roll a 3 and a 4. So the 3 is within his rating, the 4 is outside Ryan's rating, so Ryan just got thrown out. He goes to the end of the resurrection line. The ball goes to the side. Okay? Now, the order of throwing goes, the team with the most balls throws first. If both teams have the same amount of balls, the team with the most players throws first, or throws next. Then the team with the most, if they both have the same number of players, then the team with the most balls throws next. Oh, the dog's down here. Huh.
She's been down here the whole time.
She's been pretty good. I wish you could see Millie. She's down here just kind of keeping us company. All right, so actually, I'm remembering this now. It is the team with the most balls that throws next. If both teams have the same amount of balls, then it's the team that has more players that throws. So right now they have more balls, so they're going to throw next, and then we'll have the teams retreat. So it looks like Courtney will throw next because he's going to retreat, and he'll try to get out Barnage, who's got a 2 dodge. So we get a 2 and a 4, so that is also going to be a hit. So Barnage goes to the resurrection line. Okay, so now both teams have gotten a chance to throw. So the players that are not holding a ball will retreat to the back court, where they get an extra point added to their dodge ratings. And the players that are currently holding balls have the option to either throw from the back court and protect themselves, increase their dodge rating, or throw from the front court. We'll just have them throw from the front court. So right now it's even again. So the higher rating, cumulative rating would be these guys. So we'll have Choice throw, and he'll go for Courtney in the backcourt. And it's going to be a 3. That's going to be good. That's going to be outside his rating, so he just knocked Courtney out. So Courtney goes out, and Choice loses. So now these have more balls, so they're going to throw. He'll go ahead and try to get Choice. Kessel will throw against Choice. That's outside his range, and so it's going to be a miss. There's 2 left, so Zelnick is going to be next. He'll throw for Kessel, and it's going to be a miss. Now, I'm rolling both of these because if it adds up to 7 or 11, we have a special TV result. That's where the drama part comes in. We haven't had it yet. So that's going to be a miss, and now we got 1 ball left. Rule is going to throw for, he'll go for Zelnick, and it's going to be a miss also. And it's an 11, though. Okay, so because it totals up to 11, we use the TV. This is where the TV stuff happens. So we first of all decide, was it...
You got 10 seconds left.
10 seconds left. All right,
I'll
I'll resolve this. Okay.
Take some time.
So because it was 11, we first resolved what happened. So this was a miss because it was outside his throw range. So we're going to look at the dodge. We're going to go to the TV throw. We're going to use the Dodgers rating, and the red die result from the Dodger. And we're going to use the Dodgers character type. Now, there are 6 different character types for this game. There's the superstar, the good guy, the tweener, unknown, kind of undefined character. There's the unhappy camper. There's the hothead. And then there's the bad guy / heel. So none of these guys have any numerical ratings except for Young. It looks like when we were playtesting, Young was a bad guy because he's got a 6. Everybody else is a tweener right now. So as you play this game, the storyline begins to develop. Teams begin to develop personalities. So right now, this is a tweener. Rule is a tweener. So or Zelnick is a tweener. So we're going to use the character type 3, and we rolled a 5. So it's going to say the trailing team gets a TV ball. I'll have to explain what a TV ball is. And then you re-roll for the Dodgers character type. So these guys are going to get an extra ball. And the TV ball works a little bit different than the regular rules. So we would then re-roll for Zelnick's type. We're going to redefine him. And he's going to become a hothead. So he would become a hothead, and then we would roll for the TV result based on the TV rating of the teams. So there's no defense in this. These teams are unrated at this point. If we were starting this out from scratch, these teams would be rated C. I see the heroes are rated an E, but we'll just say that the Big Bang is a C. So Zelnick would get the ball because of the TV result, and if he rolls a 6 or less, he can choose any player he wants. 6 or less is a hit because it's a special TV shot. So he's going to go for Rule, and he rolled a 7, missed him. So we would then reconfigure. Looks like we got the hero. The Big Bang has 5 guys. The heroes have 4. We would roll the 3 dice again for each team. You only do the adding up of the opening rush points for the beginning. So we would give balls to the player in 1, but there is no player in 1, so that's a lost ball. Player in 3 and a player in 4 choice. We'll put them all here for now. And then the heroes will get. Looks like Davies would get 2, and Rule would get 1. And then you reconfigure them based on where you wanted them to be positioned. He probably would stay in the backcourt with a dodge rating of 1, although he's got 2 dice, which would beef it up to 3 if he held on to the ball for a while. This is where kind of the strategy comes in. And then these guys would stay back. These guys might come up. And then we would start again. Team with the most balls would go throw first. These guys have 3. These guys have 2, so they would make the first throw. And you'd play until there were no players left on one side. There is a catch mechanism. So if you roll doubles, like if Davies is throwing and I roll a red 3 and a blue 3, then that gives the guy who he's targeting, let's say it was Janish, the chance to try to catch the ball. And then if he rolls, depending on where he is on the court, front court or back court, if he rolls within the range, he makes the catch, and then Davies goes out, and they get a player from the resurrection line, just like in real dodgeball. So I'm out of time. I think I went over my time limit. That is the crash course in dodgeball. And as I said, this will likely be a play now game at some point. But we are focused more on getting something like Pizza Delivery Pro or the game that Sam's going to be showing you here at the end onto the site first, in the interest of balance. All right, so let me put that up here. Almost feel like I should have done a separate show on dodgeball because there's so much that we didn't really cover in terms of the TV element, and it's kind of like relegation, you know. Teams can get disbanded because they didn't perform well enough, and sometimes that's because they get a bunch of hotheads or a bunch of malcontents on the team that start screwing everything up, and it's really fun to watch. And conversely, you've got the good guy teams, who make great plays and thrill the fans, and of course the bad guy teams are always trying to undo them by cheating and so forth. So I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to really show you that, but that is very much a part of the game. How are we doing on time? 16 minutes left.
15 minutes left.
All right, I think we'll see what we got here. Okay, this is what I have it labeled as U.S. rugby. This was sort of a precursor to Fury football. You'll see some commonalities, but it's not exactly Fury football. In fact, it's really, I think, it's more accurately kind of a game based on the end of game chaos play from second season. That was really the inspiration for it. The end of game chaos play, which you can download from the Play website, is like the Stanford band play, where the guys, the clock has expired, and they're throwing the ball around, and it's just reckless. We just gotta score. That's kind of what this game is based on. So you move the ball until you're stopped, and then the other team gets the ball. You're just throwing the ball around, running with it. It's violent. It's You know, kind of like rugby, no padding. So let me just show you how it works. So we're just going to put these players. There's 6 players on the side. We'll put Loring, Poirier, Newland, O'Shaughnessy, Rogers, and Kelso for the blue team. And again, I haven't really come up with scoring for this, so we'll just keep track of touchdowns. I was thinking, let's get Kelso in there. Is he good? Oh yeah, he's kind of hot and cold. We'll put him in there, and they've got reserves, of course. And here's the green team. We'll put Baxter, Folger. I'm not really eyeballing these players very much. Some are good, some are bad. We might have a mismatch here. I don't know. All right, so we'll start with the green team. We'll start the green team at their own whatever yard line that is. This is like their territory. This is their goal line, and they go into blue territory, and then this is the blue goal line. Rather than have this big long, field, we'll just do it this way. All right, so they're going to start. Let's see. Where's my? I think I need a token for the who's got the ball. We'll give the ball to we'll call Aaron their quarterback. And the decider die determines whether the offense or defense player comes into play. We don't use the green die unless there's a long gain or a long loss. The black die is going to indicate which player we're keying on. And then the white die is going to serve as our fury die. It uses the fury symbols. All right, so here we go. Here comes the green team. So player 2, Aaron's going to get the ball over to Folger. And it is an offensive play. So we're looking at the offense side of the card. It's a 2, so it's going to be no gain. But the ball's still alive. So they didn't gain any yards on it, but they do have the ball. So they're going to flip. He's going to flip the ball to 5 over back to Aaron. It's an offensive play, and this is going to be a short gain. He's going to be tackled. The little hand symbol means he's going to be tackled. Let's do the short gain first. He gets 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can throw the ball before he gets tackled. And that's what these numbers here. If he rolls 7 or less, he'll get the ball. He'll flip the ball to somebody else successfully. Otherwise, it'll be just incomplete, and then the other team's going to take over there. So 7 or less, nope, it was not dropped. So these guys get the ball, and Loring will be their guy. So here's where they are, and they're going that way. They're in green territory. So here we go. It's going to be a defensive play on 5. Aaron's going to make a defensive play. Oh, it's a short loss. And the skull and crossbones symbol indicates that he made the tackle. So he tackles him Aaron tackles him for a short loss. Ooh, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these guys get the ball again. Oops, I should have printed this on heavier stock, not just paper. So we'll have Aaron start it out, and they're in blue territory to begin with. Here we go. And I don't need this. I need this. It's going to be player 4, Carlisle, and it's an offensive action, and 6. So it's going to be a short gain. So Carlisle picks up 1, but the play's still alive, and it's going to be defensive play 5. Rogers is going to make the play on defense. I'm not going to flip it to anybody else. I'm going to keep, since it's a defensive play, he's going to keep the ball. One of the things I'm deciding whether I want to do or not. So Rogers makes a defensive play. It's going to be no gain, and there's the hand symbol again. So Carlisle will get a chance to pass to somebody. Otherwise, he's going to be tackled by Rogers, and they're going to take over right there. So let's see if he rolls a 5 or less. He doesn't. So these guys will take over, and now they're going this way. Let's see if Rogers can. We'll just do a few more sequences here. All right, so it's going to be a defensive play. Rogers is going to keep the ball. Player 4 on defense is Carlisle, and roll a 1. Ooh, it's a medium loss and tackled. So a big play for Carlisle. Makes a big defensive play, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here comes the green team. We'll start with Aaron again. I got to finish this out, see if they can score. So here's the play. Oh, it's another defensive play. Player 5. Oh, but so no gain or possibly a medium. No, it's going to be no gain. And Aaron's going to have a chance to throw it, though, because there's the hand symbol. So rolls a 7 or less, the play will be alive. And he does. So the play will be alive. They keep it, and it's going to be a short gain. So he passes for a short gain. Oh, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it will go to 5. Oh, he kept it himself. All right, so they're getting close to the blue goal line. It's going to be player 1, Baxter. Over to Baxter. Offensive play. Up to no yards, though. Play does stay alive. Defensive play. Player 2. Poirier. And 6 is going to be no gain, or yes, no gain. And there's the skull and crossbones. So Poirier will make the tackle, and they will take over on offense there. So that's how this works. I'm calling it USA Rugby. I don't, I'm not that familiar with rugby, but it feels like kind of the same sort of thing there. It's not exactly soccer. There's some passing. You can use your hands. And easy to play. I thought about adding like a kicking game to this, to where if you were in that position right there, rather than try to advance the ball, you could elect to try to kick it through a goalpost and get a couple points that way, and maybe build up a lead in bits and nibbles as opposed to trying to score from a long way out. Anyway, that's some of the strategy that could go along with this game. All right, we got time. What do we got left? 8 minutes?
9 minutes.
9 minutes left. Looks like we're going to get to our last game. And it is a tennis variant that we've been working on. Now we spent a lot of time last year with Chad McAvoy working on a tennis game, a History Maker tennis game, and we played it a lot. It's a very good game. It's very statistically sound. It generates excellent statistics, and it really was well thought out. I think it covers everything you could possibly want covered in a tennis game. However, it didn't feel like a play game to me, and that's not a criticism. It's just an observation. As I told Chad, I really felt like his tennis game could easily find an audience. A lot of people are super interested in a statistically sound tennis game, but I felt like the game needed to feel a little bit more like tennis. It's sort of a subjective thing. So this is an early idea that I had. I haven't really spent a lot of time working on it, but it gets it gets to the kind of the point of the match. Or I call it tennis for the set, because you're rolling to decide the outcome of the set. The set results are resolved using the qualities on the top half of the player's card. So we got these fictional, well, sort of fictional. I think I got Billie Jean King in there. Maybe McEnroe is in there too. I don't know. Put McEnroe, and we'll put McEnroe up against a scrub. Let's put let's have him go against Port. I don't know if Port's really that bad. All right, so set results resolved using the qualities in the top half of the player's card. You'll notice that it uses the red, white, and blue racing qualities of reflex, skill, control, heat, smart, and star. So you'll roll, and then you'll compare to see. You'll roll on this chart here, which will determine which qualities came into play most often during this particular set. You're not going to play out the set shot by shot. You're going to sort of summarize the set based on a particular attribute or not, and then we're going to determine. At that point, we're going to see which players gained advantage because of having those qualities or not having them. And then we'll roll to determine the status of the set. And then from there, you would play the game stroke by stroke using the ratings on the bottom half of the card. So in this case, McEnroe versus Port, we're going to roll for the qualities. You read these dice the way you would History Maker Baseball from lowest to highest. So we roll a 25. Control and smart are the two qualities that come into play here. So we see that McEnroe has control. He does not have smart. Port has smart, but not control. So they each have one. There's no advantage there, so it's even. So we will then roll again here and add the dice to determine what the status is for the set. And we roll a 3. So the lower seed, these players would be seeded. Obviously, McEnroe would be the higher seed. The lower seed leads the set 5-3. So we're going to pick up the action from there. now we can do we can play out the full set, or we can do fast forward. We'll go ahead and play the full set out here. I forget exactly. There's a way of determining who would have been the first to serve. We'll say McEnroe is serving, trailing. He'll be trailing 5-3. So he's got to win 2 games to get back to 5. It's going to be tough. So here we go. So we roll. First of all, we roll on the service. You'll see each of the tennis players are rated for ace, which is their ability to generate an ace. Basically an unreturnable serve. The bad rating is if you roll that, they basically have a double fault, and the other person scores. And then if it's neither of those, then the other person will get a chance to return using the return rating that's printed on their card. For Port, it's 3-8. For McEnroe, it's 2-9. And then a winner result will come up. Let's see. It's been a while. I should have looked through this. I'm trying to remember the winner result is on doubles. No, when a player rolls a 7. When a player rolls a 7, when the dice total up to 7, you look at the green die and it will give you a quality based on the green die. And if the player has that indicated quality, he will make the serve and the return and earn a blue chip. If not, he returns the shot, but the opponent gets the opportunity to attempt either a routine return or a winner. On a routine return, you just roll within the range. A winner, you'd roll within the winner range, and if you rolled within it, then it'd be an automatic winning shot. See if I can remember all this. All right, here we go. So McEnroe's serving. He's trailing 5-3. And he rolls a 4, so he got an ace. So he's up 15 love. And a 6, so Port will return. And it's a 10. It's outside his return range, so McEnroe delivered another shot. It's 30 love. 7. So that is going to be it's green die 2. Does he have control? He does have control. So he's going to make the return. He's going to get a blue chip, which then can be used to enhance his play later. And Port's got to make the return. And he does return it with a 5. And then an 11. Ooh, it's outside McEnroe's rating. So that he could use the chip there. And Port gets it. Here's McEnroe on a 6. Port returns. 7. Here's McEnroe. 4. It's a long rally. 10. So Port misses. So McEnroe is up 40 love. And he could win this game. And he serves 10. It's doubles. So when doubles are rolled, the opponent gets an opportunity to attempt either a routine return or a winner. So Port can try the winner 5-8, or he can just try to return it 3-8. He'll go for the winner. And he rolls outside, so he missed. McEnroe's going to win that game. It's now 5-4. Okay, so McEnroe is possibly making a comeback here. There's a fast forward option here where we can dispense with all that and get right to the final point. So let's do that for this last game, or which may not be the last game. McEnroe's now 5-4. And here's our fast forward roll, 41. It'll be, we're going to look at, 14. We're going to look at reflex and heat. So McEnroe has reflex and double heat. Port has reflex and heat. So McEnroe has a small advantage. And with a small advantage, that means McEnroe leads 40-30. And let's see if he puts it away to win the game. He serves 6. Here's Port on the return. 7 is returned. Here's McEnroe. 6 is returned. Here's Port. 12. Oh! It's outside his range. It's doubles. So it's irrelevant because it's outside his range. So McEnroe would win that game too. Now it's 5-5. So you would continue playing until you got your winner. And I'm sure I've forgotten to explain some stuff here, but I think that gives you the gist of how this game would work. It plays very quickly. I like the fact that you're rolling for returns. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That to me feels like tennis. On the other hand, if you do that for the entire match, it gets old very quickly. Conversely, if you don't have it in there, then it doesn't really, to me, doesn't really feel like tennis. So this, I'm not going to call it a game. This attempt sort of tries to meet in the middle, so you got the feel of tennis, the back and forth, at the key moment where it really, really matters, but you don't have to do that for the entire game. You set the stage, and then enjoy the drama of the back and forth. So that is tennis for the set. Again, there's no timetable on this. It's nowhere near development. I'm still working on basketball. You'll notice that basketball is not in the stack. We're going to do a separate show on basketball later this spring. Maybe around March Madness. Maybe that'll be the March show, because we have made some progress on basketball, but it is frustratingly slow. We are advancing. We're ahead of where we were, but not very far, not very much further. So it's slow, but it's coming along. All right, so Sam's going to take over here. I'm going to get these boxes out of the way, and Sam is going to show you a game he's been working on, a superhero game, and I'll just let him talk about it.
All right.
So I'm going to get out of the screen. You're going to see a blank screen for a while.
Yep. Adjust that.
This is a test pattern.
Huh?
This is our test pattern.
Testing.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Hey everybody, how's it going? Good to see you. I see you every week, but you don't always see me here. So it's good to be back in front of the camera for once. So I've got Keith has been showing you all these games all night. I think I'm going to take a stab at it now. I'm going to show you a game. Like Keith said, this is called Super U. It is a superhero solo deck building action game. And the premise is that you are a fledgling superhero enrolled in a superhero academy where you have to manage your time and studies and survive superhero school and power yourself up so that you are eventually able and strong enough to take on your arch nemesis, who is the last person you'll fight. Let's show it. Let's show it off real quick. If you want to switch over to the...
What do I do?
You want to click the OBS screen. It's up that screen. Yeah, click on that. Okay, now over to your left. Sorry, I should have set
I'm such an idiot.
Oh, no. Over to your left. Don't click that.
Okay.
Game. Click the one that says game.
Okay, there we
All right. We're good. The game is on. All right. So, here we go. This is Super U. 2 boards. And like we said, this is available to download right now. If you like what you're saying, if you like what you're seeing here while we're playing this, you can go to playnow.com, and it is available to download for free, the exact same thing that we're playing right here. It's a beta version of the game, of course. It's still very much in progress. We've got a lot of work to do on it. But we're looking for some feedback. So if you'd like to go play it, see what you think, hit us up via email. We are open to any comments, criticisms, suggestions, thoughts, hopefully some praise. Hopefully it's fun. I think it's really fun. I've been having a lot of fun designing and playing it, and I hope you'll see that here in just a second. So before we get started here, we've got some setting up to do, and I'll sort of explain what all of these cards are. You'll see that the game is mostly card driven. It's a pretty thick deck of cards that we've got here, and so we've got to sort of separate these out into some different piles to get set up for the game. So the way this works is you're going to be sort of collecting different superpowers for yourself, for your hero, that is, to make your deck stronger when you eventually go out and fight villains. At the same time, the villains will also get progressively stronger by taking stronger cards for themselves, stronger power cards for themselves. So they will get stronger powers as well. And as you progress, and you'll have some choices as to how you want to strengthen your hero and how you want to go about doing certain things in the games. There's a lot of decision making that goes on here, and so I think that's part of the appeal of it. You'll have to pardon me as I just sort of set a bunch of cards out here in front of all of us, so we can play this. All right, so we're starting to see some cards that we're going to work with right off the bat here. These are hero cards. The first thing we're going to do in the game is choose from a selection of different heroes that we want to play with. So we've got let's see, we've got Cole Trouble, we've got Dash Hansen, Brick Wallace, and I've got one more here. Oh well, Anita Key. Oh, there's Anita Key. We're gonna play as, let's take Brick Wallace. So Brick Wallace is our hero. He's in superhero high school, and he's about to get a lot stronger. And now we have to pick a fighting style for him as well. And so the heroes and the styles will all sort of all offer different bonuses and abilities, and will beef you up in certain ways. We're going to give him the brave style. And your style will also become your health meter when you get into combat here with villains. There's really a lot to this game. There's a lot of different stuff to go over with. I'm not going to go over all of it right now because this could take some time. So I'm just going to try to get us into the game, into the meat of it as quickly as possible. So let's do that. All right, here we go. So this game plays in two alternating stages. The first is the scenario stage. And what's going to happen there is you're going to pull cards from this deck. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Great. You're going to pull cards from this deck, and it's going to give you something that's going on either in your school life or in the city, or something that you have to interact with. And you're going to pick how you want to interact with that, and depending on how you interact with it, it's going to give you different things that you have to do. So let's just try it out, and you can see what I'm talking about here. So we flip over the top card of the scenario deck. Okay, so there's a fire. There's a fire, and we have three options here. We can either find the culprit, find out who started it, and if we want to do that, we have to fight a villain. We can put out the fire. If we do that, we're going to gain renown, which is sort of like a social resource that your hero acquires, and you can spend it on special bonuses. Or we can stay home and study, and we're going to draw 2 power cards. So we're going to learn how to use some new powers instead of going out to help fight the fire. So those are our 3 options there. And I think just to show off the combat side of this, which is really the meat of the game, is you fighting villains, we're going to choose to fight, we're going to find the culprit, so we're going to fight a level 1 villain. So let me show you what that looks like for us. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find our villains. Where are they? Here they are. We're going to make sure that we don't have our nemesis in here because we don't want to fight him right off the bat. Yeah, get him out of there. So we'll just sort of shuffle these up. These are all different villains that you'll fight at some point or another throughout the game. And we're going to pick a random one off the top. So we are fighting Octo Fiend. And since our scenario card up here tells us he's a level 1 villain, let me sort of hold this up for you so you can see it a little bit clearer. We've got some different instructions on here for what this guy's going to look like as a level 1 easy villain versus a medium or hard villain if we were to have to face him in one of those settings as well. So there's different settings for each of these villains. And the main difference between them is the cards that are going to get added to their deck. So you can see on the easy setting, these little squares here all represent the cards that are going to get added to their deck. He's going to have 2 blue cards, 2 level 1 cards. Blue is level 1. He's going to have 1 level 2 card, so we're going to take that. This, by the way, is the enemy board that's got all the different assortment of power cards here for your villain. And then he's going to have a signature. The green is a signature attack that he's got. So we actually pick that out specifically. He's going to have a constrict attack. So that gets added to his deck as well. Now we give this a good shuffle. It's not a whole lot to shuffle here, so we just kind of mix them up a little bit. We're going to set that next to him. That is his villain deck. And we'll shuffle our hero deck as well, just to make sure I'm not stacking this deck so that I just blow through this guy. And now we're ready to go. So what we're going to do here is draw cards. We're going to take 3 cards. Since we're a level 1 hero, as you progress as through your ranks at the Hero Academy, you start to gain more cards in the start of your hand, and you get more stuff you can do as well. But for now, we get 3 cards. We have 3 attacks available to us. We can, actually only 2. We have 2 copies of Hero Punch in our hand, and we have 1 copy of Guard. And I'm going to choose which power I want to use here to fight Octofiend with this turn. Every turn I'm going to play a power down, and then it's going to get matched up against his power that he decides to use. Now the catch is that the power that I use this turn is also going to affect what I can do next turn. We're just going to play it, and you'll see how that comes into effect. I'm going to choose to do Hero Punch here. So I'm going to put my card down, and then Octofiend, we just flip over the top card of his deck here to see what he does. He's going to bash. He's going to try to bash me. So now we've got our two opposing cards here, and we're going to sort of compare them to see to resolve this conflict. So a couple things to look at here. The first thing to look at is the stat line. We've got 4 different stats that are going to be common on all power cards. Some cards will also have text down here that is effects, special bonus effects that get added to your powers. But these are both pretty simple cards, so neither of them have any bonus effects going on there. So what are each of these stats that we've got on here? We've got 4 stats, and they are priority, damage, guard, and charge. And we're going to read through them. We're just going to go right down the line and compare them card by card. So the first thing we look at is priority, and that's going to tell us who gets to attack first. So Octofiend, with his bash attack, has +1 priority compared to my 0 priority on Hero Punch. So Octofiend's going to get to attack first. Now we look at his damage, the next thing in line. We can see that Octofiend's going to do 3 damage to me, and now we're going to compare that to my guard. So I've got +1 guard to his 3 damage. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to put out a health bar for him too. Forgot to do that. Let's get him an easy health bar to match his easy villain status. Okay, so he's going to deal 3 damage. I'm going to block 1 of it, so I'm going to move 2 down on my health bar. He deals 2 total damage to me. And then we see his charge is blank, so he doesn't gain any charge this time. Now we move on to my card. It's my turn to attack him. I've got 2 damage from my Hero Punch, and he's got no guard up, so I'm also going to deal 2 damage to Octofiend. We move him down there. Okay, and that is it. The last thing we do here is we take these cards, and now we flip them 180 degrees and move them off to the side. Now, this is what I was talking about before, where our cards that we played last time affect our cards this next turn, because you can see there's also a stat line upside down on the reverse of this card, and that's going to get added to our cards if we can match the color of this. So you can see it's red here on top, and it's kind of confusing because the whole card is red, but for instance, we've got some cards that are going to be red here and blue here. So if I was to play this card after playing, if I was to play Takedown after playing Hero Punch, I would get the bonus here. But if I was to play Guard after playing Hero Punch, this is blue, this is red, don't match, I don't get the bonus. See how that works? That's kind of one of the main mechanics that we're kind of trying to play with here. So since I want to match, I'm going to play Takedown here. And we're going to see what that matches up against with his card. So he is going to constrict now. And we just do it the same way. We start by comparing the cards. We look at priority first. And we're going to add the stats from both of these cards together. The villain always gets to combo his 2 cards together regardless of whether there's no colors on the villain cards, so they always get added together. He's got -3 and +1, so he's adds up to -2, and I've got +1 from Takedown, so I'm going to get to go first this time. Now we look at my damage. I've got +3 from Takedown, and then +1 from my Lingering Hero Punch effect. So that's going to be +4 total. But he gets 3 guard from Constrict, which is huge. Not good news for me. So I'm only going to deal 1 damage to this guy. And again, I don't get any charge this turn. So now we move on to Octofiend. He is going to deal 3 damage and then +1 from his other card. I have 0 guard this time. So he's going to do a full 4 damage to me, and we are not in good shape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the good news is, so first of all, actually I only take 3 damage because Brick Wallace has a special ability where if a villain deals 4 or more damage, I get to block 1 of it. So I'm going to gain 1 block. Only deals 3 damage this turn. Also now, my ability that I'm getting from my style card, from my Brave style, is called Lifeline. And whenever I've got 3 or fewer health left, which I do right now, I'm going to get +1 damage and +2 block on all of my attacks. So, moving forward to the next round, we're going to flip these over, and I have to keep that in mind as well and add those to my stats when I'm attacking. So I've got another copy of Hero Punch. The starting deck is kind of stacked with nothing but Hero Punches and guards. As we draw more cards to upgrade our hero, obviously, that'll be sort of thinned out, and we can remove cards from our deck as well. So Hero Punch isn't very good. That's why we're kind of getting our butt kicked by this guy. But obviously, you want to remove those cards and replace them with something better. So for the time being, we're going to play Hero Punch again. We don't get the bonus because this is blue now, and this is red. And let's see what Octofiend has in store for us. He's going to Feeble me. I think that's fine, though. It's not going to be too big of a deal. We look at priority. He's got +2. I've got -1. He goes first. He's got 2 damage. I've got 1, and then -2 guard, so okay. But I also get 2 guard from my style as well. So I'm going to have a total of +1 guard to block 1 of his damage. He does 1 damage to me. Now we look at me. I've got 2 damage from Hero Punch. He's got 2 guard. I don't do any damage to him. So not a great round for me. But the good news is that I've got this red set up here. I'm going to do an extra damage with my Hero Punch next time we take another turn. Takedown. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We're going to play Takedown. I'm going to try to go kind of fast here so we can get to the second stage of the game here. And then I'll set you guys free. You've been watching very patiently for quite some time now. So if any of this is interested to you, I highly recommend you go to PLAAY.com and check out the full free version you can download right now. Before we go, he's going to boost. Okay, so this is good. Good news for me because his extra effect on this card is he gets to play the next card in his deck. He doesn't have any cards in his deck, so that's going to work out very well for me. We're going to look at priority first. He's got +3. I've got +1. He gets to go first. +2 total from his damage. I've got 1 total block, so I'm going to take 1 damage. I'm on my last health, ladies and gentlemen. This is not looking good for Brick Wallace. Obviously, some balancing that maybe needs to go on here with this game. Octofiend is maybe a little bit strong. But regardless, we're going to keep going on. I've got 4 damage cooking in the oven for this guy. He's got 1 block, so that is good news. I'm going to deal 3 damage, 1, 2... Oh, sorry, 4 damage because I've got +1 for my style as well. So that is, he was here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 more, and he is out of there. So this is a very fierce, close battle. And just for the sake of time, we don't even go through this whole thing. So we're just going to assume that I beat Octofiend. Maybe that's not such a safe assumption. But just to show you what happens next. So we beat Octofiend. His card's going to tell us what kind of rewards we get for beating him at his level 1 level. We're going to get 3 experience points. And we're going to gain 1 renown as well. Now we got to get out some of these tokens. We really should have set this up before we started playing. We got markers here for our hero board. Keep track of experience and all sorts of other non-deck related upgrades to your hero over here. We're going to gain 3 experience. 1 more experience point and we gain a level. The more levels you gain as a hero, the more actions you can do on your class stage, which is what we're going to be doing here in just a second. And also the more cards you're going to get in your hand. And then you've got some skills as well that you need in order to use some of the more complex hero abilities. Like I said, there's really a lot to this. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to coattail this at the end of the broadcast. It probably needs its own thing. But the last thing we're going to go through here is the class stage. Like I said, there's 2 stages to the game. The scenario stage and the class stage. We just went through the scenario stage. The class stage is going to give you a lot more freedom. We're going to get to choose different actions that you want to do to upgrade your hero. So there's a list of them outlined in the rules. But I think the one that I probably want to do here is gain some more abilities for my deck. So for 1 point, I've got 2 action points here that I can spend since I'm a level 1 hero. And for 1 action point, I can reveal the top card of the power deck and add it to my deck. So I've got the Mend power now, and that gets shuffled into my deck. And now whenever I am fighting villains, I've got this new power now that I can use to fight them with. And I'm going to do that again for my 2nd action point. Okay, and we get speed, our super speed power. So that would get shuffled into the deck as well. I think that'll about do it for us. We probably don't need to go on too much longer. I think you probably don't get the idea just yet. There's a lot to take in, I know. But if this is interesting to you at all, I highly encourage you, go to PLAAY.com. Download it for free. Read the rules, check it out, see what you think, give us some feedback. We would love to hear from you. And so with that, I think, what do you want me to hand it back over to you, or do you want to
just mention that we're going to do the big game Super Bowl.
Oh,
Pre-play. Super Bowl. Big game pre-play on the 30th.
Okay, you can probably hear that yourself, but Super Bowl. No, it didn't say that. Didn't say that. The big game championship, big game championship pre-play football, going on the 30th this month. That's going to be right here on the PlaySpace Live. Is that a Thursday?
Thursday night, yeah.
Thursday night.
Thursday before the big game.
Right before the big the super game. So, with that in mind, I think we can go ahead and sign us off. You can, the one that says outro over there.
Got it.
Click that, and that's going to give us some fun music that should start playing here. Oh, no, you got to take it up. So, okay, it doesn't matter, whatever. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Catch you guys next time on the 30th for the super game pre-play. That is Thursday the 30th. See you then. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.